Hello everyone and welcome to today's Corporate Training Options Technology webinar on Microsoft Outlook. Our presenter today is a Microsoft Office training specialist, Judy Gleeson. Describing herself as a bit of a nerd, she's the perfect CTO trainer to present technology training. She really enjoys the Microsoft Office product suite and certainly is an expert in Outlook and OneNote working together, and now of course gaining a lot of experience and doing a lot of training in Microsoft Teams. Highly motivated to help people and enjoys increasing your skills in IT. So we're looking forward to her presentation today. We're only going to cover 3 topics as we normally do in our webinars. So today it's how Outlook links seamlessly with other Microsoft products, useful ways to use the categories in Microsoft Outlooks, and 3 hidden features, which I'm really looking forward to. Please feel free to ask questions via the chat if you have anything that you would like to ask of Judy. She's very happy to answer questions for you. What we'll do is if there are questions, we will come to them at the end of the chat and address them for you. At the end of the course, we'll also give you links to the Microsoft Outlook courses that are available. And I'm now going to hand over to Judy. So thank you very much. I will stop sharing my screen and welcome Judy.
Hi everyone, Judy here, how are you? I will put my screen up, boom, boom, boom. So we're going to start with a little about Outlook today, and I've left a bit of stuff in here so that we can do odds and ends. Are you all good? Can you all see it? You can talk to me on chat if you want. Are we good? Give me a thumbs up, Rosie. Cool.
We can't see your screen yet, Judy, if you're sharing.
You can't see my screen. Why not? I want to share that one. Okay. Now you can see my screen. 3, 2, 1, go. Says I'm sharing my screen. We can see my screen. Life is good. All right. So here's my inbox. I've hidden a whole lot of stuff, but there's enough in here for us to play with today. I've been using OneNote for an awfully long time. And one of the things I find is that people don't really quite understand how OneNote and Outlook can work together. So if you're a note taker and you like using OneNote, I'm just going to go to my OneNote. One of the things you can do in OneNote is, just get that out of the way, is you can have a meeting today that let's say I'm going to go and see this lady called Sally Gibson this afternoon, which I am, and I can have a meeting request from Sally or a meeting already sitting in my Outlook, and I can go here on the home tab of OneNote, which is my notebook for keeping my notes in, and I can say I want to put in that meeting with Sally Gibson. I can go to a meeting from a different day if I want to, but I tend to set these up in the morning and put a page in for each of my meetings. And then when I turn up for my meeting, I'm ready to go with my notes. So if I click that one and give it a few seconds, in pops my Outlook meeting. So if there's an invitation message, it will also turn up there, and you can see it is. Okay, and if I collapse that, it will also have all the participants, so I can see who else she's invited. In this case, she hasn't invited anybody else, and I can then start making notes about that meeting when I turn up to meet with her. So that's one of the nice links between Outlook and OneNote. And it does go backwards and forwards. So if I click here, it will take me to my Outlook calendar. Okay. So I'll just show you there. I clicked link to Outlook item and it takes me back to the Outlook item. So I could say here that this is actually a Teams meeting so that I don't drive into town to go and see her. Okay. So that's one of the nice little links. Another link from Outlook is to Teams. So if I just go into my Teams now, which I imagine a lot of you are using nowadays, we have in the navigation pane all these different things in Teams. If I go to my calendar, you'll see this webinar, and you'll also see my meeting with Sally Gibson, which now is updated to say the location is Teams. Another meeting here, my football training tonight, and we can have a look at what's going on in my Outlook. And if I put a new appointment in here, so let's say that on that Monday something else I need to do, attend. Okay, so that's on Monday the 28th. If I go back to my Outlook, it will also have that appointment on my calendar for Monday the 28th. There it is. So in the world of Microsoft 365, your email address is your identity, really. So you live in Outlook, things go into Teams. If you're in Teams, things go into Outlook. They link really nicely. There's a lot more you can do with meeting notes. You can have shared meeting notes as well in your OneNote, so that you can have meeting notes about a major project and have that all linked back to the appointments about that particular project. So for example, when I was working on the ANU InSpace project, I had meeting notes pages where all of the trainers could see what was going on about that project. We can do a whole lot of things to collaborate, linking out of your Outlook appointments and Teams appointments into your OneNote and backwards and forwards. Okay. So that's some of the links. There are lots and lots of links because pretty well everything links. But if we head back into Outlook now, this little thing that I'm playing around with on the left here is called the Date Navigator. So in the Date Navigator, I can wipe a few days with my mouse and it will then show me those days. I can control click. So if Rosie rings me and says, Judy, could you do some training for us? We need a couple of days. Here are the ones that the client has available. Could you do the 8th or the 9th or the 14th or the 19th or the 20th of October? I'm now looking at the 8th, the 9th, the 14th, the 19th and the 20th. And I've done that by holding down control and clicking on the dates here. So have a go at that. Pop into your Outlook. If this is minimized like this, just pop it open, pin it, and then you've got your Date Navigator. You can make your Date Navigator bigger as well. You can get a couple of months on it. Depends how big your screen is and what you want to do. But having your Date Navigator is quite useful when you're in your calendar to be able to see certain dates. So if a friend's on the phone and says, how about lunch on Friday, Jude? I'll just go back to one day, and then we'll get back to that one day approach that was up the top here. I could say, yep, Friday, no, Friday, yep, Friday, yep, Friday, yep, there you go. I can't do next one, but I can do the 3 after. How about we book all 3? So now I'm going to put in here, lunch with my bestie. And I want to put it in 3 times. Now, I could go in and make it recurring, but we might have to have it a bit early on this Friday because she's got another appointment. So I'm going to drag it with my right mouse button to 12 o'clock on that day, let it go and say copy. And then this one I'm going to have a bit later, and I'm going to, missed it, and say copy. Okay, so you hold down your right mouse button and drag, and then when you let it go, you say copy. Now this does not work with meetings, it works with appointments. So I can set up multiple appointment times. So for example, if we play soccer on Saturdays, when one of my kids plays soccer on Saturdays, I can put their games in at all the different times that he happens to be playing each Saturday by dragging it in and then change the location because it's not a standard recurring meeting. So that's one of those little things that I really like, and I expect that you'll have some use for on the odd occasion. Okay. So that's a bit of right clicking and a bit of just wiping or dragging. You can also click next to the week to see the week. So if I click here, I'll get the whole week. Okay. As opposed to using these, which also work, but don't have as much flexibility as that control clicking approach, where you can add and remove dates from ones that are highlighted as well. Now, another cool thing you can do in Outlook is drag stuff all over the place. So if I get an email from, where are we, Blake? We've just been clicking and dragging in the calendar. I'm going to take something out of my inbox because Blake's in here in my inbox. It's a nice email from Blake and he has a good signature block. with all of his details, and I want to make a contact. So the easiest way for me to make that contact is to drag the email straight onto my people button. So down the bottom on the left, I've dragged it down here to people and I'll let it go. And it creates Blake with his email address in the right field, with his name in the correct field, but it didn't grab all of this. So these bits here now I would simply, cut and paste or copy and paste out, however you want to do it. You can just drag them. Okay, so I can highlight and drag. I can highlight and drag his mobile number out. I can put the main number in, and then I can say, actually, I don't want any of the rest of this, and delete it. So now I have a contact set up with the least possible work to make that new contact. It's one of my favourite things to do. Now, the third topic we're going to get into is categories. And I believe categories, if you use Outlook without categories, it's like driving around in a 5-speed car but leaving it in 3rd or 4th all the time. Categories really underpin a lot of the power of Outlook. So if we go to my calendar, you might have noticed that things are lots of different colours, and that's because they're categorised. So I've got here sort of dirty orange, and the category for that is to be invoiced. So I know that after I've run a training course, I need to invoice it. Once I've invoiced it, I just change the category and I just clear the categories off it. Okay. Things to do with the Foster Care Association, I put in hot pink. So if we have a look at that, I should probably go to today's meeting with Sally and say that's to do with the Foster Care Association. I should go to the Human Rights Commission and say that was to do with the Foster Care Association. So if someone asks me, how much are you doing in your volunteer capacity, I'll say, well, there's all of that and then all these time with these boys that I've been looking after at the moment. Okay. Things that are purple, okay, personal. So my daughter's birthday I've put in as personal, and I can make whatever categories I like, and they can be applied to appointments, to tasks, to people, to emails, you name it. Okay. And because Outlook was originally a personal information manager, your categories are personal, as in they're your categories, and they're a little bit difficult to share, but it is possible to set up the same categories for an EA and their manager, for example, or for a whole project team to set up the same categories. It's a little bit fiddly, but we can certainly do that. Okay, so you'll see here I've got categories coming in for, I can put whatever I like on these, and I can also have my rules make categories. So lots and lots of scope to do some pretty cool things with categories. And once you've got them in, then you can do things like group them by category, filter by category, do some basic reports by category. There are masses of things you can do by category. So really powerful way of analysing your data, communicating with certain contacts, doing some basic project management with your tasks. There's masses of things you can do with categories. So if you didn't know about many of these things, you're not really using a whole lot of Outlook. There's a lot more of it in there. So I suggest you come along to some training, and we'll get you going with the really key things that make a big difference to your ability to be productive. So thank you for coming along to the seminar on Outlook, and I'll pass you back to Rosie.
Thank you, Judy. That was amazing. I learned some really good things myself, and I've been using Outlook for years. Everyone in the office here was going, wow, that's great. So thank you very much. Very enjoyable and certainly very informative. I really, really appreciate the fact that you took the time to provide us with those tips. And certainly with any Outlook training coming up, I'll be recommending you as our clients trainers. So what I'll do in the chat now is I will have Blake put in some details for the Microsoft Outlook training courses we do have available. We have an introduction level Outlook and an advanced level Outlook. Certainly the advanced course offers some really great integration topics and time management and calendaring. So certainly can recommend that one. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will ask Judy to answer them for you either now or at a later date. And also the webinar will be up on the CTO YouTube channel by the end of the day. So if you've missed it or had to leave early or come in late, you'll be able to watch it again on YouTube. So thank you, Judy. Thank you, Blake, for organising again our online events. And thank you everyone who's joined us today. It was lovely to have you with us and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Have a great day and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.